Hello and welcome everyone to Season 2, Episode 1 of Beneath the Current. We have Brandi Spruit, a counselor in residence from Student Wellness and Accessibility. Would you like to tell us about your role at SLC?
Sure. So I was hired during a pilot project to do counselor in residence, which is a first-time position in 2021. And it was basically because of, as a result, the COVID, students were really experiencing a lot more like anxiety, depression, that kind of thing, because they were removed from being social. So the idea was to kind of try to build more social opportunities in residence and be there present in and on campus so that they had someone to come to. And so it was going to be individual counseling as well as like opportunities for group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the group work kind of is where I delight.
All right. I can imagine it must have been really tough during COVID, especially especially international students who are away from their family and isolated. That can be really tough on them.
And I started in September or October of 21.
Okay.
And so we had come out of kind of the major lockdowns, but then again in December, the school had its lockdown. So students were back into not being able to kind of come into the lounge or be together in groups and that sort of thing. So I was a part of that. By, I think it was March, it might have shut down. Anyway, December to March, something like that. So my role was initially to kind of help reduce hospitalizations or emergency response calls in residence. And they thought that having a counselor on site would help reduce that. And the research shows that all of the preventative stuff, like the social groups and the building relationships, was the prevention. So it's like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So then, so that was our intention, was just to start to create these opportunities for students.
And did you start with SLC in 2021?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So as the pilot project part-time contract.
Right.
Yes. And then I did that for another contract. And then this August was hired full-time.
Wow.
I know.
That's awesome. We're really glad to have you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And now the role is specific to Brockville and Cornwall campus for myself. And then there's another colleague that takes care of the Kingston campus residents. So,
nice.
Very nice.
And as we mentioned, you're from the Student Wellness and Accessibility Department. Can you tell us about the services this department offers to students?
Sure. There's all kinds. Oh, we didn't talk about Thrive. Will we talk about Thrive?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But I was going to say, I don't want to forget to talk about Thrive.
That's Thrive. Yeah.
So we're going to be here all night.
Yeah.
And 12-hour podcast. So no, but so the office offers a lot of services. So it's primarily around supporting students with any mental health or accessibility and accommodations. Student wellness is focused on that. So student services is separate.
Okay.
So student wellness is, we have our counselors on staff, and then we have accessibility advisors. And our wellness team is very intentional about providing groups to students that are going to support their mental health. Specifically, like let's say it was an ADHD group or striving and stress, that kind of thing. So working with anxiety, very specific to wellness.
Right.
And then the accessibility part is that our department takes care of if students require accommodations. And what we mean by like functional limitations is just different perhaps disabilities that are interfering with them being of equal, how can I say? My colleague Sean says it really well with this awesome analogy where he says it's like imagining a 4-foot fence. And so basically the person that is 5 foot can see over top of it really well, but the person that needs 1 box is going to get their 1 box in order to level the playing field. Or if they need 2 boxes, they're going to get 2 boxes to be able to see how everyone else can see. So so it's basically just leveling the playing field.
That's awesome. And since we're talking about mental health, I understand there are a lot of stigmas around the topic of mental health, and it can be a taboo in a lot of cultures, especially since we're dealing with a lot of international students. So how has your experience been in trying to advocate mental health towards the students?
Yeah, so it's very much been, ever since I've started, that has been a focus to destigmatize mental health, particularly with international students.
Right.
The research shows that was a population who were less likely to uptake services.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of just promotion around campus. There is a specific counseling support services available via text or online 24/7 in I don't even know how many languages, but very much just introducing the ideas. And if they have, and my experience so far has been good, that students are accessing services if they need it. And after maybe 1 or 2 sessions, some will say, thank you very much. And then some others might stick around for longer for more deep-seated stuff that they want to pay attention to while they're here.
Yeah.
So what a time to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've been really open about talking about mental health. I've been getting counseling for about a year now, and it's an amazing gift that you can give yourself. So I would definitely encourage other students who are struggling and don't know exactly what to do or who to reach out to. This is a great department to go to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you would just simply fill out an online consent form. You're registered with Student Wellness and Accessibility. They call you to set up an appointment. It can be virtual or in person. And our team of counselors, we work with a variety of issues, common to students, but common to humans, I think. And so there's a lot of work around anxiety and depression and other personality and mood kind of challenges, like stress management, relational issues, assertive communication's a big one, kind of identifying your own needs and expressing what you need and how you feel and all that good stuff. But I think that as a society, it is becoming more normalized.
Absolutely.
And more accessible.
Yeah.
And so this generation, I think, are far more informed of the impact that their mental health has on their whole life and their functioning. So,
and since we're talking about how these services can help students in different areas of life, who typically requires these services? Is there a requirement for a student to reach out for
No.
services?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, there is.
Okay.
Human.
There you go.
Were you born? Are you here as an SLC student?
Yeah.
Is there something that's challenging that you could maybe have somebody walk alongside you?
Okay.
That's
a great answer.
Yeah. Because the reality is I think that there's different stress points in the semester. And so what an opportunity to be able to kind of gain some more skills and knowledge that would help you manage the inevitable anxious.
Yeah.
The anxiety is a reaction to our nervous system. Even if somebody isn't diagnosed with anxiety, we all have anxiety because it serves a very important purpose.
Absolutely.
As does anger.
Yeah.
It's just, are these things interfering with your daily functioning, and how much is it, interfering? So how is it interfering, and how can we kind of work toward building tolerance for unpleasant situations and emotion in order to do what we came here to do?
Right. Yeah. Which is very important. We're here to not only study, but have a personal development as well, which is huge, right? And that's what college is all about, learning and growing as a person.
Well said, Nandish. Spoken like somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah. So, besides these services, are there any academic support options available for students who require them?
Yes. So there are learning strategists.
Okay.
There are learning coaches. There are student success facilitators, work under the student services branch, but we work very closely with them because they offer stuff like QP labs, which is quit procrastinating, or, those kind of things. Really? I don't know about that.
I struggle a little bit with procrastination, but yeah, that's something I could do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the accessibility advisor on campus, Sean McGregor, he has been here a very long time and knows so much and has done so much extensive training in the area that he would be somebody that somebody who was really struggling would go to for the assistive technology kind of stuff. And then on other campuses, like in Kingston, there's somebody that's specific to that role who does, like, I think all accessibility advisors would know where to direct people, though.
Right.
So we have a team that's tri-campus, available virtually and remotely. But Sean's kind of the... At Cornwall campus, yeah, he would be the person that would know who would best serve them. And then a learning coach is a little bit less. It's kind of like almost a service that's like an accountability partner, somebody that can talk strategies for like planning and test taking and note taking and organizing, time management, that kind of thing. And then they can come alongside them on a weekly basis to say, hey, how did that go? Right. You know, it's sort of that accountability piece. Or there's another term called body shadowing. Body shadowing is something that people work better when they're in the presence of others. This isn't everybody, but some people do. So then there's an opportunity at QP Labs to come and get your work done alongside other people. And just the presence of others helps us to be more productive on the tasks we've got to do. Yeah. So very, very helpful. Any other ones though? I want to make sure that I don't miss any, because they do so much. We do so much, but I think the accommodations piece is also really important to know, because not everybody gets all the accommodations that are available. It's usually based on their functional limitations, and it generally requires documentation from a doctor or a medical care practitioner who can verify what they need specifically. And then us as an accessibility department are able to form accommodation plan for the student's unique needs. And then we kind of create the plan with the student, and then we are able to send it off to all their professors. And that's an agreement between the student and their professor that they require this accommodation. Example, test center. Example, extra time. Example, the use of technology, or alternative test dates, not 2 tests on one day, that kind of thing. So
is that something you also have?
We do that, yes, all counselors. And as of September, I've been starting to get trained in accommodations as well. But it's new for me. Yeah, it's a learning curve, and but our team is like very, very knowledgeable and able to do that for students. So, and I'm on that team.
Yeah.
So I can consult them all I want.
Also, I have noticed there are a lot of therapy animals on the campus as well. I think they're on Thursdays and Wednesdays, if I remember.
Wednesdays and Thursdays at the library.
In the library, yes.
At soon.
Yep. And I'm always excited to see those dogs.
Do you go?
I do, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know the ones here.
Okay, fair.
I just say, but on Tuesday night of this week, I had therapy dogs in residence in Brockville.
Okay.
And I had 4. And I know their names.
All right. You want to give them a shout out?
But I'll give them a shout out. So we had a brand new girl. She was a 3-year-old Moyen poodle.
Okay.
So she had long black ears and big puffy black hair, and she was the cutest thing, and she was so affectionate. She loved affection. And then we had a newbie who was 9-year-old lab shepherd.
Okay.
And Beamer was his name, and he was an absolute sweetheart. Then we had 2 return guests. And one is like a Shih Tzu Maltese puppy, like a little tiny white, beautiful teddy bear looking sweetheart. And her name's Missy. And then we have, who was the last? Oh gosh, I can't forget the golden retriever, Elsa.
Nice.
The students flock to the lounge for this.
Yeah.
Flock because they miss their pet, or they're just at that high stress point in the semester with midterms coming up and all the assignments due. And it's like we encourage them, come out, take a break, be present with the dogs, enjoy, letting your nervous system rest.
It's always nice to pet them and just play with them. It's a really good stress buster.
Yeah, so actually it's Anne at the library who is responsible for the organizing of this campus's therapy talks, which is so shout out to Anne. And I would also say that is a very different distinction between that and emotional support dogs.
Okay.
Okay, so emotional support dogs are also granted to students as an accommodation, requiring documentation and paperwork by a health practitioner or professional. And that is, but they have their papers, they have their documentation, all the vaccinations and all that, and they're on campus working.
Okay.
So when you see a student with an accommodated dog, or I should say an emotional support dog, they're at work.
All right.
They are not to be interacted with. They're there strictly for that student's emotional support.
Yep.
Yeah. And so that is really helpful for students that struggle with severe social anxiety. That's one very common, support for students there. So I just want to make the distinction because therapy dogs are for all students and come and just love them. And then there's work dogs.
Okay. That's an important distinction.
Yeah.
So is there a way students can register for services?
There is, and it's all on the website. Yeah. I don't know what it is though. Oh, you get the service animal request form. Yeah. And you register your service animal through the website. And when you come to wellness, student wellness and accessibility, you would bring all the paperwork in there, and then we can again support the process of giving you the papers that you need for on campus. Very strict.
Okay.
It's not just for everybody. It's for, people who really need it.
Understand.
Yeah. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
All right. Now we get to the wellness groups and wellness workshops.
Okay. So I don't know what's happening. I think that the way that it's transitioned this year, so that we provide like a handful, I'm going to say 6 workshops, that all of that information goes out to the professors.
Right.
And the professors are kind of encouraged to bring that into their classroom. It's because we're finding that students weren't attending just out and about. And like if we were to put it on, there wouldn't be a big uptake.
Okay.
So now we've changed our approach. And I think that the direction we're headed is that the professors are going to bring us into the classroom. And that way the students are there. They have the time and the attention scheduled for it.
So
it is like striving in stress. It is like healthy relationships or assertive communication or what is spiritual care or spirituality and why do we need it? Definitely I know that there was the attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder group. And I think that is kind of being brought into, more of a workshop context. So it's just that the way that it's working, though, is that it's mainly the professor's job to reach out to student wellness and accessibility. And then our student and accessibility advisor, Andressa, reaches out to the prof and connects the counselor to the prof. And the counselor goes into the classroom and does the workshop.
All right. I've actually noticed that even on Blackboard, under all of our courses, there's a direct link to access student wellness services as well.
Oh, good.
And our professors remind us that we have access to these services as well. So I'm assuming it's part of that program?
Well, there's also, there's different supports for students that are available 24/7, through TOWEL.
Oh, right.
The therapy assistance online, or I was going to say Keep Me Safe for the international students. We're actually just launching a new platform, an online platform that is intended to create anonymous online student peer group support. So it's kind of like internationally spread out. But students are accessing this to be able to go on there and actually meet people and chat and build community.
So is it more like a social platform?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it is, but it's intended for mental health, and it has 24/7 kind of support. So therapists work on there, and they'll actually monitor the site for red flags. If anybody's really struggling, then they're going to be able to. They're going to get a reach out, and there's additional student support that way. But it's online, and it's the intention is that sort of peer support again, so that all the students, and these are internationally, are coming together and can support each other. Okay, so yeah. So there's that. And then what's the other platform? Just a second. It is Together All. Together All. Okay. One word.
All right.
Okay. So the current workshop offerings are striving and stress, overdose prevention and naloxone training.
All right.
Write your best test, note taking and academic reading. That's a new one. Eating disorders, spotting the signs, connections and community, spiritual resilience, self-compassion, practicing faith in a faithless world, crucial conversations.
All right. And these are upcoming workshops?
These are all workshops that are the current workshops that that professors can act. Well, this is the reach out to professors.
All right.
Yeah. So that's kind of the route that we're going.
Oh, sorry.
But if there was an interest, students would speak up to the professors and say, hey, we'd love to have this workshop.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. That's something to look out for.
And Together All was the online student peer support platform.
Okay.
And so that is being launched, I believe, March 2020. Yeah, through also SLC. So these services, it's important to note that it's all covered under student tuition.
Okay.
Like when you're accessing different online platforms for mental health, it is included. Oh. And it is 24/7 counseling and can be in your own language, in your own, with somebody from your own country, that kind of thing.
All right.
Yeah.
It's basically online, right? Like,
yes.
Is it like is it face-to-face online or is it just on WhatsApp?
Both. Okay. So it can be, and I think sometimes it's just via text or sometimes it's via phone or virtually video.
Because that's really good to know because some students might not be comfortable talking and they might be in a situation where they can only use text.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
So it's really good to know that you have this option.
Yeah.
Coming to
Thrive.
Well, don't thrive.
Yes. Okay, so what can I tell you about Thrive? Thrive initially started in Kingston. Kathy Deering is our spiritual care facilitator who began the whole project. It went crazy during COVID. Like it was unbelievable that so many students could connect together in small groups every week, discussing topics, but pretty much just coming alongside each other and living out their lives together, asking big questions. But this was virtual. This was
virtual.
Yes, at the time it was all online. And so Kathy in Kingston was able to facilitate this. And those groups started forming and strengthening and building momentum and doing things like once COVID kind of restrictions would let go a little bit, then they would get together and they would go do fun things together. And so they just really started to build these relationships, which was contributing greatly to their student experience and them feeling supported. So what happened was under my position, it's under my portfolio for Brockville and Cornwall campus to kind of expand that program here. So we're currently just building it out.
Okay.
The idea about huddles is that it's a small group and they meet weekly and they talk about what's on the wubba wubba. So it's what are you learning? Oh, I've got the lamp one. That's a different one. Uh-oh. So it's actually wubba wubba. Okay, first of all, there's always candy, and I brought my prop. There's always candy.
I'm seeing a lot of candy.
And there's what are you learning right now? What is your invitation? Okay, so learning right now about yourself, others, and the world. What is your invitation and what you're learning? What is something of value that's happened this week? And how is your emotional well-being?
We could actually do a Thrive ourselves. We them a taste of.
We totally could. That would be a super awesome. Yes, Nandish, what a great idea.
Yeah.
Shannon has to participate though.
Yes. Shannon has to participate.
He has to trust the process.
Yes, I have been part of a Thrive Huddle group before in my first semester here, and it was an amazing experience. We used to meet online at the time because we didn't have any offline classes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was a really good experience. I made a lot of friends But besides that, I learned a lot about myself, which was really important for my personal growth.
Yes.
And it was really fun. I really wish I could have joined one again, but time didn't work out for me.
No,
I also tried to be a huddle leader. I forgot the word that you have for the huddle leaders.
What word? Luddle.
Luddle, yeah.
To have a huddle for our leaders, because we like to support our leaders. So there's a space for them to have their own huddle.
Right.
But I do want to just say that what a huddle is it's a safe, confidential space. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to build a community where you're not getting judged. You're able to speak. You're able to actually feel heard.
Right.
Everybody kind of takes their turn. Nobody interrupts anybody. There's no advice giving.
Absolutely.
It's only an hour, so there's not a lot of time for everybody to jump in and interact. So it's just basically a space to kind of reflect on and express what you're going through, and people just listen. Yeah. And then it's just like we support you and say, yay, that's amazing. Yes, you finished that. Awesome. Or crap, I'm so sorry to hear that. That sucked.
Everyone's each other's cheerleaders, basically.
Yeah. And each huddle, usually at the beginning, like the first huddle, everybody chooses the topics that they're going to talk about. So, for instance, today, just before our meeting, I had a huddle and our topic was on what would you tell your youngest self or your younger self? What advice would you give your younger self?
That's a really good one.
But then, so this happens, but then what also happens is that then they do all these, okay, so say for instance, so tonight our huddlers are going to jam.
All right.
So we're going to La Maison.
Wow.
And we're going to open mic night. And we're going to go, so different huddlers from different huddles are coming together. And so we're starting to kind of like intermix.
Okay.
And we've also got space reserved at the Shark Tank coming up in March and in April, where we're going to have like an open kind of house.
What are the dates again?
Why don't you have this right in front of me? I know the dates.
Check it.
No, I know the dates. I've got them right here. So the first one is the 21st of March. From 12 to 1.
12 to 1.
At the Shark Tank.
At the Shark Tank. That's A115 in the Allswell Hall.
Yes. A115. I should write that down. I probably got that somewhere. And the next is on the 4th of April and the 18th of April. Those are the open, like what we're going to do is we're just going to gather together as huddlers, but also be an open space for all students. And we're going to provide like some food and refreshments and just gather and kind of meet new people.
All right.
Another fun thing that's happening is that I've put a team into RecFest in Kingston on the 7th of March. So the bus comes from Cornwall, goes to Brockville, goes to Kingston, and we're having Thrive team.
Wow.
I know. We might have to add another team because there's quite a few people that want to go, but we're going to do this together. So that's kind of the hope, is that we can build relationships and do this life alongside each other with safe people.
Right.
That we feel comfortable and that can completely accept us as our authentic self.
I love the idea of a Thrive. You're building a big community out of it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm not, but something is. I'm showing up.
You're definitely a part of it, right?
Yeah.
So,
but that's the point is, though, it's supposed to be a peer-led. It's supposed to be student-led. So ideally, once the leadership once the people are into the huddle community and the leaders come forward and want to take responsibility, then I don't have to be there.
Right.
And I'm really going to miss it. But I'll still get to do Luddles. And then I can support the leaders every week or every other week. And And there's other portion. The other thing about the Thrive community is that we do offer one-on-one support. So Kathy would say it like this. This is another awesome analogy. So she would say, counseling is when the wheels fall off your car. That's when you need counseling.
Right.
One-on-one Thrive meetings with one of us, which is myself or Kathy, is like when you need your oil changed.
Okay.
Or your car vacuumed.
All right.
It's kind of like we have these spaces available online where you can book with Brandi or book with Kathy one-on-one. And then that way we're supporting the students in the Thrive community with whatever it is that they need. But it's not counseling.
Okay. It's
totally different. So I take off the counselor hat and I put on my Thrive facilitator hat and I just kind of, meet with the students one-on-one.
All right. That's awesome.
Yeah. And that leadership opportunity is also another part of the Thrive, which is also building skills. And like, if you feel like, because that's the thing, we're asking these big questions in huddles to get to know who you are as a human and how you are in the world.
Yeah.
And so being in a huddle helps you figure that out. It also maybe ignites the leader in you that wants to facilitate personal growth.
Exactly.
In groups.
Yeah.
Supportive environment like that. So that's another way that maybe you're coming more into who you are as a human. Like Brandi.
Yeah.
I love groups.
There you go.
It's my favorite thing in the world.
There you go.
So, yeah. Anyhow, so that's what we do. And we call this the Wubba Wubba just because it sounds like, I don't know if you can get that.
Yeah.
Wubba Wubba. The lamp is completely for faith-based groups. And the one thing I didn't mention is that huddles can also be specific to their faith. So we have Christian huddles. We have Muslim huddles. We are hoping to do Sikh huddles because that would be amazing. But just any faith community. We also have LGBTQ plus 2S plus.
Right.
LGBTQ 2 plus.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, so specific to your tribe. Let's just say that. This lamp is, what are you learning about yourself, God, and the world?
Okay.
How do we hold you accountable? What is God asking of you? What is meaningful in your life right now? Where are you investing? Who or what is feeding you? And how can we pray for you? So that's got a little bit of a different vibe, and it's lamp rather than live.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm assuming students can potentially request for a particular kind of group as well?
Yes.
All right.
Well, you would know about that. You signed on to our Thrive community.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
So when you filled out your job form,
right,
there was a spot on it that said, like, is there a particular type of huddle you're looking for?
Oh, right. I remember. I said I was open to any.
Yeah. And it kind of gives you a drop-down list of whatever. Well, some people say faith-based, and then some people will list what their faith is.
Okay.
So basically, yeah. And then we try to group the applicants, like the people that put in the job forms together.
And it's you and Kathy taking care of that.
Well, and Kathy has an intern.
All right.
And a couple of volunteers that are very helpful with the Tetris.
All right.
Putting everybody's schedule together. It's quite fun.
Yeah, since we're talking about volunteers, are there any student positions that the students can volunteer for?
They can always volunteer.
Of course. Of course.
There's always room for volunteer.
And are there any student positions?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Okay.
But there are student positions. They're filled.
Okay.
Yeah. And not here, but in Kingston.
In Kingston. Yeah, I mean, we can still talk about that.
Just get on it.
Just to inform the students. Yeah.
We're working on it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of a work in progress. It's like, we call it building the plane in the air.
That's a fun one.
That's how it's going. So here we are. Yes.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So would you like to do a try with Shannon and I?
Yes, I would love that. Yeah. I would absolutely love that.
Shannon, would you like to...
Okay.
I'll come sit at the head of the table. Yes, please.
Fun. Are you sure? This is usually a very private, confidential space. So that's one thing that we say about huddles is that it's confidential.
Right.
And what's said in huddle stays in huddle.
So yeah, your huddle won't be on camera.
So what's said in huddle stays in huddle.
Just don't let it. Hopefully the audio can pick me up, but we're probably got it.
I'm sure.
It's like the booming voice. So.
We're good. I have one here. I have one here that I had done. I did what is spirituality and why do we need it in the classroom?
All right.
And it is a big part of that is our Thrive community. So we did a huddle on spiritual practices.
Okay.
How do you connect with something bigger than yourself? What are some examples of spiritual practices? Bless you. Bless you. How can practicing prayer, mindfulness, meditation enhance spirituality? What is the relationship between spirituality and physical health? Bless you. Bless you.
I've been quiet the whole time, and the second I get on camera,
It's a nervous system.
yeah, it's like I wasn't meant to be here today.
What are some practical ways to incorporate spirituality into our daily routines and decision making? So when you think spirituality, like it's a big, wide reach of a thing.
Exactly.
It is so personal.
Yeah.
And it's just what brings you meaning. How do you feel like, drawn to something or connected to something bigger than yourself? So it doesn't have to be a specific religion. It's just, where do you find meaning? How do you find calm? How do you find peace? That kind of, that would be what is spirit. So it depends on who you are as a human, but that's a possible topic.
I think that one's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. So this is also, this is the list for the live.
Okay.
And these are the questions.
Okay.
So basically, every time we get together and huddle, we kind of, here in Indonesia, got one. Oh, sure, I got one for you too. Let me see. Maybe I don't.
Well, we can kind of share
You
it.
could share that sheet. So sweet that you share. Okay.
We work well together.
Exactly. If you're in offices, if you're in office,
If we've made it work.
So basically, we could just also start with a little check-in. We could just check in and we could just say, "Hey, Shannon, it's so nice to see you.
Well,
I haven't seen you since
sometime in semester 3, like
orientation.
a while. Yeah.
We're doing like
Orientation. I'm doing a million things.
as
Yeah.
always.
Yes. So
So a little check-in. How are you?
So exhausted, but being entirely honest. But overall, mentally, I'm doing pretty well. I'm looking forward to the end of school coming up and moving on to the next chapter. But I'm also going to miss this place. It's bittersweet. Working with a great crew. I've been very fortunate to be here, but I'm tired.
Yeah.
It's been very busy, very hectic, and I'm looking forward to moving on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how about you?
I am good. I am very good. I am also, this week was a juggle because I was in Kingston yesterday and Brockville the day before and Cornwall Monday. Not Monday. Oh, no, I'm fibbing. That's fake news. It was fake day.
Rob, were you up on Friday? I know everything had a blitz.
But it has been one of those weeks where you feel like you're traveling a lot. But everything that I get to do is just, I love.
You seem to do it because you genuinely enjoy.
I love it.
That's one thing that I've noticed and observing from the back is that you obviously, like, you really care and you're very passionate about this. Shines through in your work.
Well, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was my week. Oh, and also I started cooking more vegetarian and vegan meals, which is new for me, but I'm trying to do more meatless meals and it's going really, really well.
There's never been a time for more options. So,
oh my gosh, it's the whole world has just opened up to me. And so I'm really enjoying that.
Is there?
I did. Okay. So would you like to know some of the things I did this week?
Yeah.
Oh my God. We're not going to get to the spirituality.
talking about cooking now.
I'm feeling very spiritual in the kitchen when I'm cooking. That's what I was doing this morning. But okay, so there was this one that was bolognese sauce you make.
Okay.
And then you make your portobello mushrooms and you put the bolognese sauce is like a really nice, yummy vegetarian kind of tomato and tofu sauce. You put that in the mushroom and then I covered it with cheese. So it wasn't vegan, it's vegetarian. Bolognese sauce also goes to the spaghetti squash the next night. So you take out the spaghetti squash and you do it in there. And then, okay, did you know you can make sour cream from cashews?
I did not know that.
No.
What about pesto with pine nuts? I think it is. I didn't know.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Well, it's amazing. And so I made these little potato, like cakey things that you fry and you dip them in there as a side for borscht. And borscht is a Russian or Ukrainian beet soup.
Yes.
So it's very hearty. It's got potatoes and lots of cabbage and onions and spinach and
The really interesting thing too is that
and lentils, red lentils.
your the mushroom dish with the bolognese and the cheese. There are a lot of vegan options for cheese too that you could find.
I know. Guess how they make that?
You could
Cashews.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know it was nuts. Yeah, That's interesting. So you could also just easily make that dish vegan.
Right.
Is there a reason that you have decided
Yes.
to go more
I
vegetarian?
saw a documentary that are what you eat.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
Yes, I've seen it. Yeah.
Anyway, we digress.
Yeah.
Needed, how was your week?
My week,
How are you? Or just check in.
stressful. I've been really occupied with my capstone project, the final project. We're making a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Released our prototype last weekend, and it was well received. But
It's fantastic.
yeah,
I saw it. It's fantastic.
so we're trying to expand on it and make it a better game.
Amazing. And taking it to Toronto?
Yes, we are. How do you know about that?
You told me about that.
Oh, I forgot. Yes, it's dedicated to Level Up. It's an event where students from all around Ontario who are in game development, who made their game in a similar project, like a capstone project, come in together and show off their games. That's what
So fun.
April.
So this is why you're so exhausted.
Yes.
Because it's in addition to your full-time program.
Yep. It's basically
And 2 jobs?
no, it's
Just one job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
I had to back down from one other job.
There's only so many hours in a day.
Exact. I know, right? I was that's what I've been occupied with right now, and I'm looking forward to the break week so I can take a step back, relax, and get ready for the final 2 months. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. So you guys, it sounds like you're in the same place.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are we learning? Okay, let's forget the spirituality, or not forget it, but like if you think it can tie in, it can tie in, by all means. But more so just to check in, because I know we're just gonna have a full hour for a huddle. So let's just do the check in.
Yeah, for sure.
So the check in, and when you finish your time though, you have to wubba to the next person. And I don't, and you have to. It's kind of mandatory that you have candy. There is really good chocolate here too. And this is vegan.
Okay. That's a blueberry one.
My little one loves them.
Oh, nice. So, what are you learning? Yeah.
Do I do all of it, or just the L person that I
Nope.
know all of it first? Okay.
Well,
I'm the newbie here.
whatever you want.
Whatever I want. Okay. So what am I learning right now? I'm hungrier than I thought I was.
What do you think?
I love it. I'm taking more.
They did the food basics by our place. They're getting food ASMR right now. Those are like $5 for like a couple bucks or something for those things. They have these like
Wow. Okay.
and I know that because my 3-year-old rides over and just fall in the cart. She has like 50 of them, but thankfully it's like $5. So I go on tangents.
Way to go.
So what am I learning right now? About myself, others in the world. Well, I don't really have like an answer for that right now. I think I've been so stuck into school. There's been, I'll say, some problems with how the classes have been going for a multitude of reasons, and I've been so focused on trying to get through this final semester with maintaining my high GPA and putting a lot of effort into my job, like my placement that I'm hoping turns into a job long term. That I think that I haven't really considered any of these things because it's been a huge focus of mine. So I don't really have anything for what I'm learning right now, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
What is the invitation or opportunity for me and what I'm dealing with right now? I think that applies to my placement. I worked really hard to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just, for what I'm dealing with, I guess it's just dealing with imposter syndrome. I come from a very different background than my current field of work that I'm trying to get into. And I go into work in, like a prim and proper federal government agency. And I'm like, I don't even believe that I'm in here working, potentially getting job offers. So I think that's like I've been dealing with trying to teach myself that like I kind of earned it, right? Like I did the work and I fit in with the people here and I'm working really hard, and I think that's part of it too.
You deserve it. You worked hard to get here.
Yeah, and I think I have to remind myself that, right? To get out of the imposter syndrome mindset and tell myself like, no, like everyone deserves stuff, right? I'm very fortunate. I'm one of the very few that got placement, and I am the only one in a federal agency, which is pretty fantastic. But like, yeah, in a way, I think I earned it too. I got to remember that like I deserve this position, and now I just got to do a good job, right? Something valuable that happened this week. Something valuable that happens to me every day. I mean, I've got kids and a wife. So for me, I don't know, every day is valuable. I always get little things that my kids are doing, or it's hard to think of something specific to me, you know, because every day I think little valuable things that are happening in my life, and because all one big picture for me, that's
kind of like just oozing gratitude right now.
Yeah, I really am, especially as I'm getting to the end of my semester, you know, like just this whole 2 years has been incredibly valuable. So it's hard to pinpoint like one specific thing this week. It's just like, it's all coming to a head now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And how's my emotional well-being? Well, I try to be incredibly optimistic as much as I can and lively, but I have a battery, and it's usually pretty full. It's pretty low. Again, it all ties into everything that's been going on with us at work and school and placement and kids and pets and multiple jobs. And it's like, emotionally, I'm okay. Like I'm not depressed, or, you know, it's not hard to get out of bed in the morning. It's just exhausted.
Yeah, tired.
So that's how I feel. It's like emotionally, I'm like thumbs up, but I'm like, I'm here.
Please hold my arms up.
Yeah, like I'm here, but like I'm trying to be happy about it. You know? Like it's so like emotionally, I feel very well. It's just I am very tired.
Yeah.
So it is hard to mosey about some days, but generally I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And it kind of like, it sounds a little bit like some of the areas are very frustrating right now, and that is exhausting also, isn't it? Like when we're constantly feeling frustrated.
I battle this semester, whereas it hasn't been before.
Right.
And it's just hard because I saw the light at the end of the tunnel initially. And now it's like, oh, I don't know.
It's feeling like the light's like...
Yeah, the light's real dim
flickering
right now.
Flickering there. Why is that light flickering?
Exactly. So that's where I'm at right now.
Thank you for
sharing. Yeah, that's overall about me.
Thank you for sharing.
I'll give it to the expert here. Tell me about you. Oh, sorry. I broke the rules. Here's your wobble wobble. Sorry. I'm not professional.
Oh, and I don't know, like I didn't say what the rules are, but like just no cross talking, no advice giving,
right?
No judgment, and then again, this confidentiality piece is the biggest piece, because that's what creates that sense of safety,
right?
But again, we're in our community, so we know we're being constant joy.
Yeah. But I think it's fair too. Like we're not really touching anything.
Yeah,
super sensitive right now, but like you can start discussing pretty heavy issues, right, and thrive. So of course, confidentiality is key.
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to say that.
What are you learning right now about yourself, others, and the world? I have actually been learning about myself, and that is, I have limitations just as any other person, right? But I have started learning that I need to identify my obstacles and try to overcome them. And if I cannot, it's okay. That's something I've been learning a lot lately, because I've been facing new challenges with the capstone projects. I'm in a territory that I haven't been in before. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. And it's in a place of unfamiliarity that I sometimes feel like I'm lost. But it's okay. Okay to feel like that, because it's new. It's a new experience. That's how new experiences are like, right? But if you take a step back, take a deep breath, and identify what's going on, it gets easier.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's
learning that it's okay to be a learner.
Exactly.
And you don't have to know all of everything right off the bat.
which actually ties into what Shannon just mentioned about imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Because I sometimes feel like when I'm working in the class, I work with a lot of students who might be better in something than me, right? And I feel I'm not doing good enough, or I'm not doing as good as I should be to contribute in a team, right? But it's okay. And I feel like it's okay because my team has been very supportive, and I'm really grateful to them. What is the invitation or opportunity for you in what you're dealing with right now? Like I just mentioned, the opportunity to learn from my peers. That's been great. My teammates have been very kind to me. I sometimes am really slow at finishing my tasks because, as I said before, I get lost sometimes. But they have been kind enough to me to sometimes hold my hand and help me out with my stuff. So that's been a great opportunity to learn from my peers as well. Yeah.
And to kind of accept support.
Exactly.
That it's okay to have help from others who want to help,
To ask for help.
Yeah. Wow.
And what is something valuable that happened this week? That, a lot of valuable things have been happening, to be honest. I've been socializing more. I've been trying to go out more with my friends, and I never realized that I could form such deep connections with people around me just by having conversations. Like even Shannon and I, sometimes when we're done with the work and we're just chatting about stuff, about life, about our interests, and it's unbelievable how deep connections you can make with someone just by having a stone talk. And my emotional well-being, that is, it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's bad right now, but again, it's just been very exhausting, very stressful. So I try to remind myself that, again, it's okay to feel like that, but it's also important to take a break once in a while to rest up, because it feels like it gets worse, but it doesn't. It gets easier.
I feel like the more time that passes, it gets easier because you recognize the waves of the stress, the release. Yeah, the stress, the release. Like it's gonna change. It's not gonna stay the same. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
I had a vision of an ocean.
Right. Yeah. No. So yeah, that's mind checking or try it. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for giving an example too. Like it's good for students to see what that is. I think a lot of times people hear these things, right? These students hear about Thrive, right, or about these services, but they have a hard time visualizing it, or they don't exactly know what it means or what it looks like. And I think like this is a really good way to show students, like what you had told me about it before when we had initially met last year. And when we started working together, you told me about these, and I was like trying to envision what that actually meant. Because like I hear the words you're saying, right? And, like I understand what you're talking about, but like to visualize it isn't always, like I'm just coming up with a picture in my head. Yeah. Right. So seeing it sort of how it plays out, I could see how this would be very valuable.
Absolutely.
To students, like you said, especially that are maybe international and maybe have less of a support system here. I'm a domestic student. So for me as well, like my experience here is completely different than when I talk to my peers. You, for example, or President Safa, or like Craig, who's been an SLC employee for a while. Like it's all very different experiences of being here. So I think that I could see how this would be absolutely very valuable for students.
And for different reasons. And I think that's the magic sauce in the huddle, is that it's who comes together. Like I took this one course, like my master's is in counseling and spirituality. And I took this one course that was on the spiritual dimensions of group facilitation. And it said who shows up is who's meant to be.
Right.
There's no expectation. But then whoever shows up, it's just a magical thing happens. And then, like you say, you just start to build and form these relationships. deeper connection, sense of safety, better sense of self, trust in others, all of a sudden you're building these new beliefs that, you know, the imposter syndrome, for instance, and you guys are talking about that. I wanted to share this with you because I'm older and I've got a lot of psychology in my background.
Yeah.
And I, thank you, Nancy. And I go to my therapist every 2 weeks. And my second last therapy appointment, I went in there saying, I still don't feel good enough. And that's a belief that we carry. And so it's like, and my therapist said to me, you got here. You did the work. You were good.
I did.
So you have to start to tell yourself, you are good, you are good, you are good. So I would put it up all over my house in Post-it notes. You are good.
And I think too, like a way that I like to look at it is when I sort of feel that way is 5 years ago, you were praying in whatever form that means to you. You're praying that you would be where you are today. And I think it's important to remember, if I could look at myself 5 years ago when I was relatively miserable at work, like I had a good job and everything, but I mean, it wasn't where I wanted to be. And I think about what's difficult for me now and the problems that I have now. And it's like, in the moment, I'm like, oh, this sucks and stuff. I'm tired. But 5 years ago, me would love to be here. So that's sort of what I remember.
What a great perspective.
Right? And 5 years from now, when I look back to my time here and my placement and all the experiences from here and this city, so I'm not from Cornwall initially, so like 5 years from now, I'm going to look back on this, you know, I hope that I don't feel the same way 5 years from now. Where,
what a great perspective.
That's how I look.
I have this one thing stuck to my, like right up in my dining room, and it's just a little post-it that said, remember when you were praying for what you have right now.
There you go. Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah, it's very true.
Good point.
That's how I look at it now.
Yeah.
Right? So I totally get that.
Yeah.
I'm going to run to the back end. I'm going to read the work you're recording, but thank you for having me. Yeah, I think I'd have the other front today. Yeah, always. Thank you for putting me in the limelight today.
I hear that you need at least 2 of those to make them count.
A little bit of rivalry over here.
No, yeah, that was an excellent idea, Nandish.
Thank you.
You had an excellent idea. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on our podcast. Are there any other things you would like to talk about?
I don't think so. I think we covered pretty much everything. I would say that wellness at sl.on.ca is how you would send an email to get support, or accessibility at sl.on.ca. Our office is, as you know, right down outside of student services, and you just access us there too as well. We have Kylie Hamilton. She's our full-time Cornwall counselor. She's amazing. As I said, Sean McGregor, he's the accessibility advisor on campus, and he knows all the learning coaches and student success facilitators, you know, Carolyn and Robert.
Right.
They're here. Yeah. You mentioned the therapy dogs on site Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then, and if I would just say thrive at sl.on.ca, if you were interested or wanted any more information or wanted to chat about how to get involved or what to do if you want to come to RecFest with us.
Ooh.
Anyway, however you, by all means, my email is Brandi it's bspruit at sl.on.ca, bspruit at sl.on.ca. So feel free to reach out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you would like to give a shout out to?
Oh, no. Like there's Nora. Okay. The best IT person in the world. They are so blessed. And that's just what is so important to know, is that in especially with my team, everyone has the heart for students. Like they just want to help in any way we can.
Yeah.
Like this is the best job in the world. And it's a large part because of the people that I work with. So
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
But thank you for having me, Ned.
Yeah, thank you.
And
for joining
Shannon.
us.
Yeah.
It was really nice talking to you. And thank you for watching our episode of Beneath the Current. And we'll see you in the next one.